There's a moment every man faces when he wants to say the right thing, but ends up saying something that quietly kills attraction instead. You probably didn't mean to. You thought you were being kind, polite, even romantic, but women don't respond to words the same way men do. For them, language isn't just about communication, it's about emotion. Every word you say either deepens the connection or pulls it apart without you realizing it. And there are 5 words, just 5, that most men use with good intentions, but those words instantly shift how she feels about you. They change the way she sees you. Think about it. Have you ever been in a situation where things were going well? She was smiling, the energy felt good, and then suddenly she became distant? Maybe she looked away, changed the subject, or her tone softened in that polite but detached way. You didn't know what happened, but in her mind, something clicked. Or rather, something disconnected. That's what these words do. They flip a hidden psychological switch in her that tells her, he doesn't get it. And before I tell you the first of those words, I want you to understand this. Attraction isn't built on logic, it's built on how a woman feels in your presence. You could be the most attractive man in the room, but if your words carry insecurity, hesitation, or emotional neediness, she senses it instantly. A woman's intuition is unbelievably sharp when it comes to tone, timing, and meaning. What you say is one thing, but what she feels behind it is everything. Now, the first set of words that destroy attraction sound harmless. They sound polite. You might have even said them 100 times before without realizing the impact. Those words are, "Do you like me?" Simple, right? But when you ask a woman that, what you're really doing is handing her all the emotional power. You're making her the chooser while you wait for approval. And psychologically, that changes the dynamic. Women are drawn to men who make them feel chosen, not men who ask to be chosen. When you say, "Do you like me?" what she actually hears is uncertainty. A man who's unsure of his value, waiting for her validation. And here's the deeper truth. Attraction fades when a woman senses that you need her reaction to feel confident. She might still smile, she might even say yes politely, but in her mind, the energy shifts, the excitement dims. Instead of asking, you show. You lead with presence, with subtle confidence, with energy that says, I know I bring value to your life, whether you see it or not yet. That's the kind of confidence that quietly pulls her in. It's psychological gravity. Because attraction isn't about chasing. It's about allowing her to feel the pull toward you. So the next time you're tempted to ask if she likes you, stop. Instead, look her in the eyes and let the silence do the talking. Let your energy tell her what your words don't need to. Because the truth is, if you carry yourself like a man who knows he's worth being liked, she'll start wondering if you like her. And that's the shift that changes everything. The second set of words might sound innocent, even caring, but they carry a subtle emotional weight that women instantly pick up on. Those words are, I need you. Now, you might think that sounds romantic, like something out of a movie, right? But here's where reality and psychology clash. When you tell a woman, I need you, what you're really doing is placing emotional pressure on her. You're saying, without meaning to, that your happiness depends on her presence. And that instantly shifts the balance of attraction from masculine to dependent. See, women aren't drawn to men who need them. They're drawn to men who want them. There's a big difference. When you need her, she feels responsible for your emotions. When you want her, she feels desired, chosen, free to lean in. The first creates tension and pressure. The second creates mystery and desire. And women crave the second far more than the first. Think about it. When you first meet a woman who captures your attention, what makes her so fascinating? It's not just her looks, it's her energy. It's the way she carries herself like she could live a full, happy life with or without your attention. That independence is intoxicating. So when a man flips the script and starts acting like he can't function without her, it quietly kills that excitement. She begins to sense emotional imbalance. that she's being asked to fill a void instead of joining someone already complete. I remember a guy once told me about a woman he was seeing. In the beginning, everything was great. The chemistry, the connection, the laughter. But after a few weeks, he started texting her things like, "I need you. I can't stop thinking about you." And, "I don't know what I'd do without you." He thought he was being sweet. She thought he was being emotionally dependent. And within days, she started to pull away. Not because she didn't like him, but because she no longer felt safe in the dynamic. Women need to feel emotionally safe to stay attracted. And nothing feels more unsafe to a woman than a man who seems emotionally unstable or desperate for her validation. When you tell a woman, "I need you," it doesn't make her feel loved. It makes her feel trapped. Because deep down, she knows that one day, she might not be able to give you what you're looking for. And if your happiness depends on her, that's too much pressure. But when you say, "I want you," or even better, when you simply show it through your calm confidence, it creates a completely different reaction. She feels desired, not burdened. She feels chosen, not responsible. That's when her guard drops and her attraction rises. The secret isn't about being cold or distant. It's about being emotionally centered. You don't chase validation. You create connection through grounded energy. You let her feel that you're a man who could walk away if he needed to. Not because you don't care, but because you respect yourself enough to never depend on someone else to complete you. And here's the irony. When you stop needing her, that's when she starts needing you. Not in a desperate way, but in a magnetic way. Because real desire grows where freedom exists. When she feels that you're emotionally secure, she relaxes, and her feminine side awakens. That's when attraction stops being effort and starts being natural. The third phrase that slowly kills attraction is one most men say without even realizing its impact. "You're too good for me." At first, it sounds humble, right? Like you're being honest or giving her a compliment. But to a woman, those words trigger something completely different. What she actually hears isn't humility, it's insecurity. She doesn't think, "Wow, he's so self-aware." She thinks, "He doesn't see his own value." And the moment she senses that, her attraction starts to fade, even if she doesn't want it to. See, attraction thrives on polarity, masculine confidence and feminine openness. When you tell a woman she's too good for you, you're removing that polarity. You're placing her above you, emotionally and psychologically. You're telling her that you see yourself as the lesser one, and no woman wants to lead a man she admires. She wants to feel led by his confidence. And here's the irony. When you put her on a pedestal, she doesn't feel special. She feels distant. Let me give you a real example. There was a guy named Daniel. Solid, kind, smart guy. He met a woman who completely captivated him. She was elegant, social, and carried that quiet confidence that made people notice her. After their second date, he texted her, "You're honestly too good for me." He meant it as a compliment, to show he appreciated her. But after that message, her replies started to slow down. She didn't feel flattered. She felt something shift. Because subconsciously, those words told her that he didn't see himself as her equal. From a psychological perspective, women are emotionally drawn to men who have self-certainty. Not arrogance, not ego, but a grounded belief that they bring value to any connection they're part of. When you say, "You're too good for me," you communicate lack, not appreciation. You're saying, "You're the prize, and I'm lucky you even noticed me." But the truth is, attraction works both ways. If she's giving you her time, her energy, her presence, it means you're good enough. She already decided that. Now imagine flipping that energy. Instead of saying, "You're too good for me," you look her in the eyes and say something like, "You have a really grounded energy. I like that you're not putting her above you. You're noticing her essence while staying rooted in your own." That's what confident men do. They acknowledge a woman's beauty or depth without losing themselves in it. That's what women find irresistibly attractive. Because here's what most men don't realize. When a woman feels that you're comfortable in your own skin, that you see her as an equal, not a goddess to worship, she relaxes. She lets her guard down. She starts showing her real self. And that's when genuine connection begins. The masculine energy doesn't rise by lowering itself. It rises by standing firm, calm, and self-assured, not in competition with her, but in harmony with her. So the next time you're tempted to say, "You're too good for me," stop and remember this. No truly confident man ever puts a woman on a pedestal. He simply invites her to stand beside him. And when you carry that energy, she doesn't just like you, she feels safe around you. The fourth phrase that quietly destroys attraction is one that seems caring, even respectful at first. But in truth, it drains all the masculine energy from your presence. Those words are, "whatever you want." Now, you might think that sounds considerate, right? Like you're being accommodating or easygoing. But here's the hidden truth most men never realize. When you constantly say, "whatever you want" to a woman, what she hears isn't kindness. What she feels is a lack of direction. Women crave emotional safety. And safety doesn't just mean protection from harm. It means clarity. It means knowing the man she's with has a sense of direction, that he's grounded enough to lead, to decide, to hold his own energy even when she's unsure. When you say, "whatever you want," especially in situations where she's looking for your input, you send a subtle signal that you don't want to take responsibility. And for a woman, that's not attractive. It's unsettling. Let's say she asks you where you want to go for dinner. You think you're being polite by saying, "whatever you want." But what she actually hears is, "he doesn't have an opinion." Now, that may sound small, but psychology shows that small cues of indecision build an emotional impression of uncertainty over time. And feminine energy doesn't thrive in uncertainty. It thrives when it can trust the masculine presence to lead without overpowering. There's a reason why confidence and decisiveness are so deeply linked to attraction. When you take the lead, even in small ways, you create a feeling of security. You make her relax. You make her feel she can trust your judgment. But when you keep deferring decisions to her, she starts to feel emotionally responsible for guiding you, and that flips the polarity of attraction. One woman once said, "It's not that I want him to control everything, I just want to feel like he cares enough to decide something." That's powerful, because it shows that women don't fall for dominance, they fall for direction. When you make a choice confidently and respectfully, "let's go here. I think this will be fun. Trust me, you'll like this." She doesn't feel controlled. She feels safe. She feels seen. She feels led. It's not about always getting your way. It's about creating balance. You can absolutely ask for her opinion, but own your own too. Say something like, "I'm good with either, but I'd pick that one." Or, "I want to see what you think, but my first choice would be this." Those words show confidence without arrogance. They show leadership with respect. Attraction at its core is about energy exchange. Feminine energy flows best when it feels supported by the calm, steady confidence of masculine energy. Saying "whatever you want" repeatedly kills that dynamic. It makes you appear passive, and passivity, no matter how polite it looks, doesn't create emotional excitement. So remember, women don't want a man who agrees with everything. They want a man who knows himself, a man who can lead with kindness, who can take initiative, who can make her feel like she can finally let go and just be feminine. And when you show that kind of leadership, something incredible happens. She starts to trust you not just with her plans, but with her emotions. The fifth and final phrase, the one that silently ends your chances with a woman before you even realize it, is this: "I'll do anything for you." At first glance, it sounds romantic, even noble. Movies make it look like the ultimate expression of love. But in reality, this sentence doesn't say, "I care about you." It says, "I have no boundaries." And to a woman's subconscious mind, that's not attractive. It's unsettling. Because the moment a man gives up his boundaries for her, she stops seeing him as strong and starts seeing him as emotionally dependent. You see, women test men without even realizing it. It's not manipulation, it's instinct. A woman feels safe when she knows the man she's with has limits, self-respect, and a clear sense of who he is. When you tell her, "I'll do anything for you," You're trying to show devotion. But psychologically, it reads as surrender. It tells her you're willing to sacrifice your own standards, priorities, and even identity just to earn her love. And that kind of energy doesn't feel romantic to her. It feels desperate. Think about the kind of men women are magnetically drawn to. They're not the ones who bend over backwards for every little thing. They're the ones who quietly hold their ground, who love deeply but never lose themselves in the process. The kind of man who can say, I care about you deeply, but I also know my worth. That's the energy that makes her melt, because it communicates balance, emotional maturity. She knows that your love isn't born from neediness, but from choice. Let's make this real. Imagine a man who rearranges his entire life just to please a woman. He cancels plans, changes opinions, agrees to things he doesn't believe in, all because he wants her to stay. At first, she might appreciate the attention, but slowly, she begins to feel something change. The excitement fades, the tension dies, because he's no longer a challenge. He's predictable, he's lost his edge, and with it, the polarity that drives attraction. Women fall for men they can trust, not men they can control. And when a man loses his boundaries, she can't trust him anymore, because she knows he'll say or do anything to avoid losing her. That's not strength. That's fear wearing the mask of love, and fear never builds attraction. It only creates imbalance. Now here's what most men miss. Having boundaries doesn't mean being cold, detached, or controlling. It means valuing yourself enough to love a woman from a place of strength, not weakness. It means saying, I'll give my best to this relationship, but I won't lose myself for it. That subtle shift changes everything. Because when a woman sees that your world doesn't revolve around her, she wants to be part of it even more. There's something deeply magnetic about a man who's caring yet unshakable, kind yet firm, emotionally open yet grounded in his own power. That's the kind of energy that keeps a woman thinking about you long after you're gone. Because deep down, every woman wants a man she can trust to stay himself, no matter how strong the connection gets. So never say, I'll do anything for you. Instead, show her that you'll do everything that aligns with your truth, your values, and your respect for both her and yourself. Because when you love from strength, not surrender, you don't just attract her, you earn her deepest admiration.